My constituents urged me to look at the PACE trial. And again, I knew nothing about the PACE trial. But I'm a scientist, and I looked into it, and right away I could tell something wasn't right. I used to be a science teacher, and one of the things you never do in a scientific investigation is change the parameters halfway through. But that happened with PACE. And the impact that has had on those living with ME, not just in Scotland, not just in the UK, but across the world, has been devastating. And I've already spoken to people here today who have been harmed by the PACE trial. They have ended up far worse than they were to start with. And in fact, some of these people have, under the PACE trial results, been classified as recovered. This is a scandal. But today's not about the PACE trial. Today's about people. And we know that in Scotland alone there's over 20,000 people living with ME. But most of the people out doing their shopping or enjoying the sunshine today don't know about these people because they are missing from our society. And I thought about my last 24 hours, and I thought about what I have done in the last 24 hours. But these people can't do what I have done in the last 24 hours. They're missing out on caring for their children. They're missing out on walking their dogs. They're missing out on socialising with their friends. They're missing out on driving their car. Simple little things that most people take for granted. But what we really need now is a recognition of the condition, both amongst members of the public and amongst healthcare professionals. Because I think one of the most frustrating things and upsetting things for somebody living with ME is not being believed. It's been told it's in your mind and get on with it. This is not a psychological condition. This is a pathological condition, and it should be looked at and treated with in that way. And for those who don't know anything about ME, usually it starts with a virus, a flu-like virus. But unlike a normal flu, people simply don't recover. I once had flu about 15 years ago, and I can honestly say I've never felt as ill before or since. So imagine, therefore, living with that flu day after day, week after week, month after month, and for many people here, year after year. This is not a disease that simply causes tiredness or lethargy. This is debilitating, painful, and life-changing. The NICE guidelines have been mentioned already, and NICE are reviewing their guidelines. But I've written to NICE and I've asked them, in these reviews of their guidelines, I've asked them to listen to the patients, listen to the ME community, and make sure that their views are taken on board. But there's more that you can do. It's great today to have my SNP colleague, Ben McPherson, who's been doing a lot of work at Holyrood. Also has been hosting events. I believe there was an event this week in Holyrood. I'm trying to do the same at Westminster. But we won't do this as a single party. This has to be a cross-party campaign. So if you haven't already done so, can I urge you, speak to your MPs, speak to your MSPs. Not in an angry way, not in an aggressive way, just talk to them, the same as my constituents, Harwinda and Ailsa did. Talk to them and explain the difficulties of living with ME. Last week I submitted an early day motion in Parliament on ME Awareness Week. And already this has the support of 45 MPs. If you haven't asked your MP to sign, check whether they've signed and get in touch with them. If they've signed, thank them for it. If they haven't signed, request that they do sign. The more MPs we get signing that early day motion, the more chance we have of having a full debate in the Houses of Parliament in Westminster. And that would include many people from many different parties. So that's the next stage in terms of our campaign. Make sure you've signed Emma's petition. That's also been mentioned today. It's a petition to the Scottish Parliament. So I believe there are people going round and you're able to sign that today, but you can also sign that online. But the thing we need more than anything is research. Research not done in the way the PACE trial was done. Not starting off considering this to be a psychological condition, but proper biomedical research that's funded. Yes, by the Scottish Government, and I believe this week the Scottish Government have announced funding into that research. But by the UK Government as well. They have the money that can be funding research that will impact people across the globe. That's really important that that takes place. There's a lot of work still to be done. And it's great to see you here today. But of course, there are millions missing. Many of your friends are not able to be here today. And the shoes are probably just a fraction of those who would wish to be here with us today. So, can I thank all of you for the work you have done? Can I thank all of you for your attendance here today? And please make sure you don't go away angry, but you go away with a sense of purpose and a list of things that you can do. Because this is not going to change, will not come about as a result of the work Ben's doing or the work that I'm doing. We need so many more people involved. Make sure you do involve them. And let's make sure those missing millions start taking their place in society once again.